That's why I've got to look up every now and again. I was drawing off camera again. It's going to take some getting used to. Let's see. I think the resolution's looking okay. I'm just trying to figure out. I've been doing videos at about 720 DPI, and I know that's not as good and as accurate as you guys want to see when I'm doing this, so I may have to do some more research on that. So we'll see. But for now, you can kind of see how I'm building up the layers and using the white gel pen to pull out some highlights. It's nice. I mean, it kind of allows me to take what I'm doing with the black line and some of the color lines, and then put in this kind of contrast with a white outline that I can then wash over with color, and it will actually come through, get tinted a little bit, just like what happens with the dark lines. So it kind of gives me some range and gives me the opportunity to broaden the value range, but still keep it line-based. It's going to take some getting used to. That's alright, that's the job. The idea for this character came out of a movie called Frankenstein Conquers the World that was a really amazing kaiju film. Just really out there. I love it. And it sort of led into the Gargantua's film. And I kept thinking, I was trying to figure out a way to have a giant Frankenstein, and I couldn't reason it, I couldn't rationalize it. So what I ended up doing was I ended up thinking, well, what if it was King Kong, and or a giant gorilla like King Kong mixed with the giant Frankenstein, and kind of created this story. And I think it was a 1976 King Kong movie that had the sequel with the fake heart and all of that kind of stuff. So there's just a lot of ideas that were going on in my head, and but that movie was a jumping off point. So I've been kind of playing around with that and trying to figure out how these characters come together. And there's another illustration that's going to be in book 2 that shows kind of the origin of this character, but I may have to change the look in that painting because it's not as it's not really cohesive, because I was kind of coming up with it on the fly like a lot of the sketches in these books. So you get to really see the process. And I'm setting up all this. The live stream thing kind of came about because obviously what's going on, I got a lot of my college students who are at home and who are going to be heading home. And so when the vacation is over, I wanted to be able to do demos for them still and make it something that was a little bit more accessible. And I've been needing to try out YouTube for a bit because people on Instagram keep asking me to do longer videos. So we're going to be addressing a lot of that stuff, hopefully on this channel. That my kids think it's cool, so my teenagers. I really love detailing gorilla hands for some reason, and their faces. I like getting into the detail of all these wrinkles that you see right in here. I mean, that's the stuff that really inspired me when I was a kid with those detail lines. Every time I look at this gorilla character and I look at this character's face, the big thing that I see is the influence of Todd McFarlane's Hulk, which I was really into. That's actually the artwork I saw that made me want to become an artist, made me want to illustrate, and is responsible for why I went off to school and to study all of this stuff. So I've got a giant Sideshow Collectibles Hulk over there that's based on his design, and his design was based on Jack Pierce's Frankenstein design that was the makeup that was put onto Boris Karloff. So all this stuff kind of comes together as you work. I mean, you study a lot of artwork, you assimilate a lot of artwork, and then it just kind of comes out in interesting ways into these odd combinations. And I like stuff that's weird. I like stuff that's lowbrow, um, or would be deemed as lowbrow and not exactly high art. And I like to bring mythology into it, bring storytelling elements into it that I got from Joseph Campbell and all the people that I was exposed to when I was in college and exposed to on either side of it. But I think everything's kind of rooted into that McFarlane run on The Incredible Hulk. I mean, it had a profound impact on me. I was like, I want to be an artist after I saw that. So those kinds of really crazy detail lines you see, if you look at Todd McFarlane's early work on those Hulk issues, you can absolutely see where I'm getting the influence into this stuff. Those kind of gnarly hands that he used to do, and the really crazy wrinkles and the big forehead on the Hulk that he did that just kind of goes and overlaps on it. Those were the things that I just thought were so cool, even more than the Spider-Man stuff that he got famous for, or Spawn. I mean, I would love to see him draw another character like Hulk or Frankenstein again at some point, because I think he was so amazing at drawing those big monsters, which are still, they're a part of what he does. But I mean, his run on Hulk, as short as it was in terms of him inking on it, was had a huge, profound impact on me as a young artist. And of course, the Godzilla films were big for me, and the Kaiju films were big for me. And actually, the Incredible Hulk TV show with Lou Ferrigno. So, I mean, there's everything. I was just a big sponge for all kinds of art and pop culture at the time. And, it's just as sophisticated as I, like to or I should say, as a college education is going to attempt to make you. I think that for me, I never lost that deep connection and that passion for the stuff that sort of first piqued my interest. And it was the creatures, it was the monsters, it was Halloween masks, it was all that kind of stuff. And so I bring that into my work. I bring a lot of that stuff into my work, but it's it's the other stuff, the stuff that I've studied. But I think that at the end of the day, I'm very much informed by and influenced by that stuff. I mean, that's the stuff that makes me come up with my stories and ideas and images that pop into my head. Getting texts to see who that is. But first, I want to do this. It's hard to ignore all that stuff, especially when you're a night owl. What is it? Oh gosh, it's 1 a.m. I've got another couple hours ahead of me. Let's see what we got here. Okay, that's looking alright. Got to do some more here in the bicep and figure out how to tie all this detail together, and then get that figure who's up on his shoulder sorted out. Let's see what we can do there. And she's just been freed from a tank, and there are 3 tanks in this one illustration. That's the before this image that's going to be in book 2. The Indiegogo, it's still up actually for it's in that in demand phase. But that image was influenced by an issue of The Incredible Hulk where they had Betty and then 2 other characters who were going to fight the Hulk in these 3 little containers, these 3 little jars. And that sort of was, with subconsciously, that kind of fed its way into that illustration. So now this is kind of influenced by, I forget what issue it was. I don't know if it was issue 344 or I think it might have been issue 344 of the Hulk, where Betty is riding on the Gray Hulk's back on the cover with a moon behind them. And I just thought, I loved that idea of scale and of a rescue. That had a huge impact on me when I was looking at it. I just thought, oh my gosh, that's just so great, so poetic, this giant creature. And then she's on his back in front of the moon. Just amazing image. And so that idea of the scale of these two characters was big for me. When I was thinking about this piece, I'm sure, I mean, whenever I'm thinking about monsters, I'm thinking about those years. All right, so we'll see how the audio came out on this short little stream here, and I'll see who's texting me. Probably my buddy Nick. And we'll go from there. But I'm going to try to do a lot more of this kind of thing because I think that it's a great way to promote the work, and it's a great way to do longer form videos. So hopefully you guys will enjoy it, and they'll come out pretty well. So we'll see what the video quality is on this one. Take care, everybody, and I'm sure I'll be doing this again real soon. All right, there we go. That looks a little bit better. And take care.